what I want to talk about today on the lighter side of the fence is winter a good time to sell?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I hope the answer is yes. 'Cause tomorrow my house goes up for sale. So I'm hoping the answer is yes to this topic.
Going once, going twice, sold. You're listening to The Property Pod.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Property Pod, your weekly engagement into real estate in the Hobart marketplace. I'm your host, Aaron Horn, and I'm stoked to say that from here on out, we're going weekly for the rest of the year.
I was going to say, I thought we were bi-weekly these days as...
I'm committed to the cause, and we're going weekly again. Like, it's been a rough road. People have been scared that there's no more show anymore, and I can't believe that I got text saying what's happened to the Property Pod, but I did.
Yep.
So we're kicking forward, and we're back with a vengeance.
Thanks, Aaron's mum, for texting me to check on the show.
She really liked last week. She thought Josh was a good listen.
I was spewing that I missed. I wasn't there for it actually because it'd be nearly a month and a half since I've actually been back on the mics.
Yeah, so
I think we put out 2 episodes. It's been rough. We've had to, John. You're the glue that holds us together.
Run us through where you've been, my friend, because I got back from a little bit of time away, and then I'm like sitting in this studio ready to go, and I've said to Pat, what's happening? And he said, oh, there's no J-Mac.
Yeah.
J-Mac told me 2 days ago that he's going to the Philippines.
I'm gone. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly where I was. So my partner, Kathy, she hadn't been back there in 8 years. So it was my first time over in the country. Loved it. It was very different because we didn't do your traditional staying at resort holidays or anything like that. We were with her family out in the provinces.
Yep.
And it's just such a different world. And when you get home, it really gives you an appreciation for just how lucky we have it in Australia.
Indeed.
But one thing that got me was I've never had a worse month's sleep in my entire lifetime. It was I was absolutely wrecked by the time I got back.
You had to have a little holiday from your holiday.
Well, that's why I was home for a week before I could get back to work. 'Cause I was in bed until like 1 o'clock every day until Thursday, and the only way I got back on my must have been jet lag and normal sleeping was on Friday, Saturday night. I ended up buying a bottle of red wine, drunk all of it, slept like a baby, and woke up at a normal time, and I was healed.
You've hit the reset button and you're all good.
Yeah, it was biblical.
The McGregor reset. bottle of wine.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
Your dad's a fond lover of that reset as well, isn't he?
That's probably I think it's the Scottish cure. It has to be
The Scottish cure.
The Scottish cure, don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, just give us a quick rundown of your time there. So it was a surprise for Kathy's mum.
Her whole family.
For everybody.
One of her brothers knew the whole scam because she'd been spending about a couple of months trying to get the house that she bought and built for them years ago.
Yep.
Prepared a little bit more for us too because it's summer over there, so it's 30 degrees constant. So it's hot as.
Yep.
And I mean, she's not acclimatized to that weather either. So we had in our bedroom just an air conditioner so you could retreat to it if you needed to. So you just come out, sweat like sweat bullets, and then all right, need 5 minutes respite, go back into the room, come back out ready for the world again.
Yeah, so you're saying like just generally day to day they're not using aircon at all, and they had to kind of bring it in for the Western influence to be like, we need to. Well, she
just in our bedroom as well.
Yeah.
So it looked pretty bad, but I don't think anyone. None of the brothers or cousins and uncles and aunties and cousins paid any attention because that was the thing, man. There were people running around everywhere.
Yeah, wow.
She's got this because in that little province in the pocket, her Andron family name in Cordoba. There's so many there's aunties and uncles all in that area.
Yeah, fantastic.
So then the house was just a drop-in centre while we were there, and it was just feed people. I'm not being malicious in that statement. It was just funny because that's exactly what was happening.
Yeah, well, I guess like sharing meals and sharing food with family is kind of one of the best things you can do, and it's a great way of learning so much about each other. So yeah, having all these people come back and obviously see her that have missed her, and then to be able to say like, let's break bread.
Exactly.
And that sounds fantastic.
Well, one of the first ones was to learn how to share the beers with the brothers. And there's the words like tagay or something. I'm getting that wrong. But rather than you have a beer, I have a beer, and we all just cheers. Is it you have a glass, then I'll pour it for you, then you pour it for the next person, then you pour it for the next person. We swap the glass while drinking this beer called Red Horse, which is the litre beer that we could get like 6.9%. Pretty damn strong.
Yep.
But what happens is that your drinking habits become shocking because you're sculling every single drink because otherwise you're sitting there sipping And it's almost like everyone is just staring at you, waiting for that glass to come back round and their turn again.
Yeah, you're feeling the eyes on you, just being like, "Hey, buddy, like,
give me the drink, give me the drink." So the second we walk in there, there was I got in, I settled down for 5 minutes, and then one of the neighbours came along, gave me a glass of beer to scull, which I didn't. It was just skull, and then it went around so fast. I hadn't even thought I'd got another few glasses in. I was starting to feel a bit woozy, and then another came in and had this coconut wine that they had, and they gave me a glass of that. And so we hadn't been there for 30 minutes, and I was already half drunk. So we hadn't had a chance to unpack the bags. But then with that time, we did do a couple of tours around a couple of different islands. There's a Malapascua, which is sort of a resort island, Bantayan, which is a larger province.
Yeah.
But most of our time was spent at the house with the family.
That's cool.
Which was a great experience in itself. And at the same token too, we needed to, when we got a bike, we just needed to go away because there's so many kids running everywhere. So I'd walk out the door and you hear this, Daddy John, Daddy John, Daddy John, Daddy John. So you'd be playing with the kids. I'd go, phone, look at YouTube. And so then I just like go back to the room, take 10 minutes, cool off, then come back out, Daddy John, Daddy John, Daddy John.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah,
it sounds like a really cracking trip. You've come back with a new lease on life, obviously after your Scottish cure.
Yeah.
So if we saw you last week and we tried to record last week, it might have been a different story.
I couldn't even talk. Well, I would have been asleep more than anything.
That still would have been good.
But it's great to have you back in the studio. Yeah, the wheels kind of fell off a little bit there. We've been trying to get everything going. But Property Pod's back, and I'm laying it on the line that there'll definitely be an episode next week.
Well, we need to teach me
about that, guys. I'm away next week.
We need to teach me how to use the desk, because that way then I can step in on that side.
We can't, John, because you'd be making an episode every
5 minutes.
10 minutes. Welcome back to John Talks.
Oh, yes.
We better talk real estate.
We should talk real estate. I know. It's been so long that we've haven't caught up properly. Look, it's winter. Today is the start of Duck Mofo, the day of recording. So Duck Mofo's kicking into action today. There's some really great stuff coming. Winter is such an exciting time of the year now in Tassie that you can kind of do these things. Snow has fallen so low, probably the lowest I've seen it this early in the year in forever. We went and recorded a little footy teaser for the big freezer of the
That was
G.
so funny.
Marty and Sean yesterday got... The snow was puking down on them. As we were driving up, it was rain that turned into snow. And then as we got to the... It really was. It just started puking. As we set up, I was like, there's probably not enough snow here. It's not settling. And then within 5 minutes, covering the ground, they probably could have made snow angels if they wanted to.
Well, when I watched the video, you could see that in their faces they were like, we immediately regret this decision.
Wait till Thursday. They're going to regret it more.
So it's winter time. Things are kind of crazy out there in the real estate market at the moment. I don't know if you guys want to comment on that, or we can have a pretty fluffy... We can either have a fluffy episode
we can crunch the numbers.
Or we can get deep into some stuff.
We can keep it light, because there's still a lot to report on that would be worth waiting until next week for. I mean, there's interest rate rises, and then talk of inflation and increase in so much stuff. So I think rather than trying to bluff our way through it, let's get some data and stuff like that. We can chew on that next week.
Hang on, just to confirm, this is the first episode where we're not going to bluff our way through something we don't understand.
I'm talking about me at this point.
That doesn't sound like this podcast. I thought that was our goal in life, was to bluff our way through something we don't really understand.
Exactly. Yeah. But considering we've been talking about me and the Philippines, doing a 180 and going straight into the effects of interest rate rises might be a bit too much of a change in direction.
I was going to say, as a choose your own adventure, I feel like let's steer clear of that, but promise that we'll be back definitely next week.
That's it. Talking about the effects, numbers.
Talking about kind of how that's affecting the market and how that's affecting people out there. What I want to talk about today on the lighter side of the fence is winter a good time to sell?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I hope the answer is yes. Because tomorrow my house goes up for sale. So I'm hoping the answer is yes to this topic.
For today, you better believe it.
Well, that's an interesting point. You've hit the button and you decided to sell, you've got a block of land that you want to build on, and you've decided like it's time to sell.
Yep.
Is that a consideration? It's winter time, so should I be doing it now or should I not be?
As a real estate agent, you're supposed to be an educated person that knows the ins and outs of the industry. I've chosen to buy a property in the highest end of the market.
Yep.
I've then decided to build when building costs are at their
more
all-time
expensive.
high at $3,000 a square metre. And now I'm trying to sell right in the mix of a bunch of interest rates.
Yeah,
So, you know, hopefully it works out in the long run, but... you know,
Isn't that just the Pat Berry way, or like just the full Berry way? Is she'll be right, mate. We'll
figure it out as we go.
We'll figure it out.
And you always figure it out.
But no, I think winter's a great time to sell. I think for starters, you know, a lot of people get nervous about selling in winter. For some reason in their head, you've got to have the perfect sunny day to show a house. I actually think the opposite. I thought for quite some time, and I've done blogs on it in the past on our website, selling in winter can be a super time to sell, to buy, because you can almost see the property at its worst. So if you see it at its worst, you know it's going to be freaking great in summer. Like,
Yeah, it's a really good point. Like, rather than kind of seeing the dolled up version of it that's, like put on full display, it's kind of like if it's raining, you're going to find out whether the water's coming in the doors or if there's a really big windy gust, you're going to find out whether it's a drafty house from it being in its worst condition.
And look at the rain we've had over the last couple of weeks. Like, if you were to head up to the property when it is bucketing down, you're going to see how it flows off the block. You're going to see how it reacts with the area. And, you know, that can be some really great info moving forward to know about a house. Like, what was it, about 3 weeks ago when John was away, we had those big floods in Glenorchy, Aaron? Was it?
I
Feels
can't
like
remember.
about 3 weeks. It might have been about 4 weeks ago. Like Mary's Hope Road.
Yeah.
Water was like a river coming down.
Oh, you're
You've
kidding.
never seen
Mary's
water
Hope
go
Road.
down Mary's Hope Road like it was.
Jesus.
Abby and I drove through it, and it was literally like a river. But it was then turning onto Radcliffe Crescent and then hitting this house at the end of the frickin' street.
Oh, no.
Like, it had nowhere to go. And I was just like, oh, I feel
That
so
house.
bad for those
Yeah.
people. But I guess this is a great example of how you can see a house and how it behaves in different weather patterns.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, so you can't do much about like rain. You've got to be able to work with is what it is. But, you know, with sun, you can counteract it with blinds. You can counteract it with air conditioning. So there's ways to make a house comfortable in the summer months, but it's hard to fix water
Avoid it.
problems.
Yeah. Especially when there's a river running through your house. Like trying to explain that away. Just get some sandbags. It's all good, you know. We'll include some
Water
with the-
feature.
Yeah.
2 times every 10 years, you've got a front swimming pool that is perfect for enjoying.
Here's some photos from last winter. Look at the kids; they love it. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure they live nearby.
Yeah.
Oh, I've missed this, boys. I've missed this. This is why we do it every week.
So, you know, I think there's bonuses to selling in winter.
Well,
Yeah,
that was certainly all about looking at from the purchasing perspective, and I think yours is a classic example. First and foremost, is that you're not picking the season in which you do things. You're doing it with as your life.
I've had
demands
to,
it.
yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you've got to work with what you've got.
Exactly. And I think if you are selling in winter, people were going to be looking for some benefits of the place too. So if yours actually really works well, like you can heat all the rooms well, you can
Straight on that. If you've got a wood heater, fire that bad boy up.
100%.
Make it a sweat box in there because the wood heater's working so well.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, all the things that didn't make sense in summer, like all of a sudden really, really work well in winter because you're looking for that cozy feeling.
Yeah.
So it's that all of a sudden trying to work all those other ones that would otherwise be a nothing point can actually still work to your strength, you know. And
But like heating's a massive one. Like even currently at the moment, like when it was just me and Sarah in the house, it was fine to have just the heat pump that we put in kind of pumping through the house and doing what it did.
Yeah.
But since we've got the 2 boys now and they're both kind of getting into their own bedrooms, heating the house and heating their bedrooms, trying to make sure that they're warm in the nighttime has been something that we've been pulling our hair out with, you know, for the last month and a half, being like, oh, what are we going to do for the winter? Like
Snowsuits. Just big puffy snowsuits. Rolling. There you go, boys.
Well, yeah, look, we've looked into everything. I was looking into heat transfer kits, so we looked into some putting a ducting system in, putting in smaller heat pumps. Someone said, put a gas heater in. I was like, when we moved in, we had a gas heater. Like, I
pulled that
thing out and sold it on Gumtree. So yeah, the house has been working fine for us in its like previous function.
Sure.
But now that we need it for, you know, heating the whole family, making sure all the rooms are warm and toasty at night time, it's something we've got to consider. So being able to walk into a house that you're looking into in winter and knowing that, sweet, they've got heating across all pages or all rooms.
Yep.
we're covered.
Well, another thing, when we, even in our office, what was it, last week, we saw that across all the open homes we had, not one home had more than 5 people.
About that.
And that is very common during these winter months, where this is the lowest turnover of property. Historically, you find it's February, March, April, and then September, October, November. They're just where like most of the houses sell, because obviously the tail ends of the nice seasons.
Yep.
So, I mean, from a purchasing perspective, you might find that you may have more choice, but also too, people are holding off. So if you are selling in winter, you may find that there's an opportunity where there's almost still very little of properties and choice available, because everyone's waiting for that good season.
So if you've got a house that fits the season, take advantage of it.
Bang, because
you're up against less competition. You wait to spring, the market floods with lots of new stock. You've got more competition. So
yeah. I think it's a hard one, because you can talk about both from both angles from day's end, but it really always goes back to that same point what Patrick's is in, is that move with your lifetime. Move with your life cycle, not trying to pick it, pinpoint, because otherwise you're just going to keep backing yourself into a corner, not making a decision.
Well, guess the thing I was thinking while you were describing that from the buyer's point of view is, like, if you're going out to the open homes on the Saturday, like the weather's crappy, it's raining, it's snowing, it's doing the things that aren't very nice. Like, you're a motivated buyer. Like, you're not just thinking like,
there you go. I like that, Aaron.
Exactly right.
You're not just thinking like, oh, what are we going to do Saturday morning? Oh, let's go have a sticky beak at some places.
Because
This
like,
guy's got free coffee. We'll go here.
Yeah.
Not bad, actually. Yeah, like sometimes last Sunday I was jonesing for a really nice coffee, and Taroo was closed because of the Albert Road market.
Yep.
And I was just like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to sort this out? It's hard to do. So maybe you got to find open homes. No, but yeah.
But then that defeats your purpose when there's not serious buyers.
I've out-argued myself like I did. Me and Pat were having an argument at his house about James Bond yesterday.
Oh, really?
And I was on one side, he was on the other.
Yeah.
By the halfway through, he argued himself out of the conversation, agreed that I was right.
I don't know if I agreed he was right. I just agreed that
moving on, he did.
Yeah.
I was right.
Just had to back out before you really put your foot in it to go sell them.
Getting off topic though, you raised a valid point that buyers that attend open homes in ordinary weather and bad seasons, they're
looking
motivated.
100%.
They're serious buyers that you're probably working with.
Yeah.
And the other side of the coin with that is that they're motivated, and there's probably less competition amongst like all these other people that are showing up. So that if people are coming, that your place is interesting, people are looking into it and they want to know about it.
Yeah.
I had another point and it raced out of my head.
It translates also to in the contracts that we're negotiating, because all the foundational stuff of displaying your property still counts no matter what market it is, presentation and pricing, etc. And we are starting to find we're having one-on-one negotiations again versus 3, 5, 10. Sometimes we had properties with 30 contracts.
Yep.
So to me, it sort of shifts to what you could call almost just like a normal market. Properties take 2, 3, 4 weeks. That's common. It's just we've been spoiled, I suppose, over the last few years to expect that everything goes. But that's a very small blip in what is historically a normal market, which it takes a little bit of time. You've got to find that right buyer. You've got to take a little bit longer with negotiation. So when we move into winter and all these little factors start to scare people away, going, oh my God, why isn't it moving? Why isn't it moving? It's like, it's okay. Relax. It's the serious buyers are out there. There's just you're not dealing with 30 people that are just enjoying the nice weather. It will sell, tick off all the right boxes. And hopefully from the purchaser's perspective, you're getting a much more honest perspective on the home because of the weather that it's going up against.
God, he speaks wisdom, doesn't he?
I've
missed that.
I know. Tell me about it. Just wraps it all up in a nice little souvlaki just consume. And don't know why I went with souvlaki either. Just trying to think of a food that got wrapped up. Souvlaki.
That'll do.
I remember what my other point was just before we sign off. I remember I was trying to think of this from the first home buyer's point of view, and I was like, if you want to get into the market, it's a good time to have the less competition.
Yeah.
So there's less people to fight against with all these offers. So first home buyers, it's a really good time to get out there and do it. You've got to strap on those winter coats that you probably are all holey and stuff because you've been saving all your money to get the deposit, but get out there and check them out. This is a really good time for first home buyers to,
You're going to start to have choice again.
Exactly. You're not kind of just getting,
railroaded.
That's the word.
Sounds good. Well, that was a very loose episode.
I really enjoyed it. I had heaps of fun.
If you got this far, thanks, guys.
No, John, it's great to have you back.
It's good to be back.
It's good that you had a really good time away in the Philippines.
Yeah,
exciting for everything that's coming ahead for 414 Property Co. And watch this space. We promise to be back next week. And the week after that. All right, thanks, guys. See ya. You have been listening to The Property Pod, recorded and edited by 414 Media House in conjunction with 414 Property Co.
This podcast is general information only, and the thoughts and views expressed is the opinion of our panel, and listeners should always seek then use their own investigation into any topic we discuss to ensure they fully understand their own situation.
It does not constitute and should not be relied on as purchasing, selling, financial or investment advice or recommendations, express or implied, and it should not be used as an invitation to take up any agent or investment services. No investment decision or activity should be undertaken on the basis of this information without first seeking qualified and professional advice.